This video might be a couple hours late, but it's still going up. I got a new video for you guys, and I think you will like it because it's a supercar that I thought Lotus was electric only, so I was trying to avoid doing them until now because I just found out they're not electric. And here's a car that really caught my eye, and I came across it by mistake, but I'm glad I did because it made a good video, I think.
Bored with all those 911 restorements? The Lotus Esprit based Encor Series 1 is for you. It features a 400 HP quad cam and flat plane crank V8, will hit 175 miles per hour, and look stunning.
At first, I thought it was a Porsche. I didn't know it was a 911. Looks like a DeLorean.
Got more than $500,000 burning a hole in your pocket but bored with all those 911 restorements? Then the Encor Series 1, a stunning reimagination of the iconic Lotus Esprit, could be just what you're looking for. It weighs barely 300 pounds more than a Mazda Miata Roadster and is powered by a twin-turbo, quad-cam, flat-plane crank, mid-mounted V8 that develops 400 horsepower and drives the rear wheels through a 5-speed manual transmission. Lighter and simpler than the original, not to mention much better built. It's the kind of Esprit that Lotus founder Colin Chapman could have dreamed of making. The Encor Series 1 combines hardware from the post-1998 Lotus Esprit V8 with design themes from the 4-cylinder powered 1976 Esprit originally styled by Giorgetto Giugiaro, and it's Colin Chapman's innovative engineering that made it all possible. In simple terms, Encor takes an Esprit V8 donor car, unbolts the original glass-reinforced plastic body from the steel backbone chassis, and replaces it with a beautifully rendered carbon fiber homage to Maestro Giugiaro of its own design. The execution is a lot more complex, of course. The engine, suspension, and other ancillaries are removed from that steel backbone chassis, which is taken back to bare metal. It's galvanized, so, unusually for an older British car, rust isn't a problem prior to it being repainted. The suspension is upgraded to match the specification of the Sport 350, the last and most potent of the Esprit V8s, and reassembled with new bushings throughout. Mostly original Lotus parts are used, including the hydraulic power steering system, but Encor has developed stronger rear hub carriers to fix a chronic cracking problem that has long plagued those on the Esprit V8. Rebuilt, reinforced, and ready for real power. The 3.5-liter Lotus V8 engine, originally codenamed Type 918, is completely stripped and rebuilt. It gets forged pistons, upgraded injectors, new turbocharger internals, a new electronic throttle body, modern fuel and cooling systems, and a new stainless steel exhaust. The 5-speed transaxle, originally sourced by Lotus from Renault, has been reworked in conjunction with engineers from British transmission specialists Quaife, receiving a stronger input shaft, revised ratios, a helical limited slip differential, and a twin-plate clutch. The stronger input shaft fixes? The stronger input shaft fixes a long-running weak point in the drivetrain that forced Lotus engineers to dial the Type 918's output back from 500 HP to 350 HP when the Esprit V8 was launched in 1996, while the twin-plate setup makes the clutch much lighter to use, honoring Giugiaro without being trapped by the past. Although it retained a strong resemblance to the Giugiaro original, by the time the V8 was launched, the Esprit's bodywork had been reworked first by Peter Stevens, who went on to design the McLaren F1, among other things, and then Julian Thompson, who did the Lotus Elise before going to Jaguar Land Rover, where he worked on cars such as the first-generation Range Rover Evoque and Jaguar F-Type. Styled by Encor's design director, former Lotus designer Dan Durant, the Encor Series 1 body represents a distillation of Giugiaro's sharp-edged, wedge-shaped Lotus concept first seen at the 1972 Turin show. "We're not handcuffed by the original," Durant says, "but we're completely inspired by it." The carbon fiber body has allowed Durant to clean up and simplify the car's overall look compared with the Lotus original, bringing it closer to Giugiaro's 1972 concept in both form and detail. The black line that ran right around the original Esprit's midsection, the carbon fiber body has allowed Durant to clean up and simplify the car's overall look compared with the Lotus original, bringing it closer to Giugiaro's 1972 concept in both form and detail. The black line that ran right around the original Esprit's midsection, for example, was there because it hid the external flanges Lotus used to join the upper and lower elements of the two-piece glass-reinforced plastic body. The Encor car's one-piece carbon fiber body allows for smoother body sides and less fussy detailing around the front and rear fascias.
Wow.
Durant's design has the flat roof and trapezoidal windshield of the original Esprit. The Peter Stevens redesign put a slight crown on the roof, as well as the subtle cam tail and discrete front spoiler element hanging under the tapered nose. The front and rear fascias are cleaner and simpler than those of the original Esprit, with modern LED running lights up front and similar taillights at the rear. In the Esprit V8, the engine was hidden under a simple cover between buttress C-pillars. In the Encor Series 1, it's visible under a glass backlight, just like the 4-cylinder engine was in the 1976 car. The 5-spoke, forged billet wheels are 17 inches at the front and 18 inches at the rear, shod with generously sidewalled Bridgestone Potenza tires, a combination similar to that used on the last of the Esprit V8s. Wheels were a real topic of discussion, Durant says. Inflate the wheel size too much, and you can completely unbalance the visuals of the car. It starts to look like a toy. Behind the wheels, the apertures of which are essentially scaled-up versions of those on the original Esprit's 5-slot wolf race alloys, RAP racing brakes.
Wow, that's that's really good. But this also looks like a Ferrari, but it's a. I'm pretty sure this is a Porsche. This is a Lotus, not a Porsche, which I did not know until now.
Two small design elements that for Lotus aficionados instantly link the Encor Series 1 with the original Esprit are the 6 small vents at the base of the windshield and the distinctive fuel filler cannon set into the left C-pillar. The silhouette and the key shapes on the car are very, very close to the Giugiaro original, but refined and honed in every way. Durant says, "We've made just small adjustments here and there to add elements that wouldn't have been possible when the car was originally produced. And because carbon fiber is such a robust and dimensionally accurate material, it means that we can do the things that customers want, like nice tight shut gaps and flush-mounted glass." Other benefits the new body brings include significant improvements in rigidity and safety. Right until it went out of production in 2004, the Esprit V8 had a plywood firewall between the engine bay and the passenger compartment. The Encor body has a double-layer carbon fiber firewall that connects to the cant rails in the roof. These contain tubular carbon fiber elements that run down either side of the windshield to the structure supporting the dash and the doors, and are also linked across the top of the windshield to form a passenger safety cell.
Wow, that's really good.
A retro cabin with modern tech where it counts like the exterior. The interior of the Encor Series 1 pays homage to the original Esprit, most notably in terms of the two-spoke steering wheel and the architecture of the center console, but with materials and technologies that give it a modern edge. The instrument panel is a case in point. The freestanding, wraparound pod of the original Esprit is reimagined as a light metal structure with a state-of-the-moment digital screen at the center, flanked by smaller touchscreens on wings angled toward the driver. The center console features a portrait format touchscreen. From the driver's perspective, all the Encor Series 1's touch points, the relationship between the steering wheel and the shifter and the pedals, are identical to those of the original Esprit. That's the good news. The bad news? It's a tight fit in there. Although 6.6 inches longer in the wheelbase than a contemporary Porsche 911, the original Esprit was 8 inches lower. Headroom is at a premium if you're more than 6 feet tall. One of the reasons Encor chose to use the original Lotus seat frames in its Series 1 was not only that they were light, but also that most modern seats were simply too tall. Encor Managing Director William Ives promises the Encor Series 1 will be easy to live with. However, in addition to air conditioning, it will come equipped with a full infotainment setup that includes high-end audio, all designed and engineered by Ives' main business, Skyships Automotive, which supplies similar equipment to high-end, low-volume automakers such as Aston Martin, McLaren, and Pagani. And you can forget all those old Lotus horror stories about the Lucas, Prince of Darkness electrics. The Encor Series 1's entire electrical architecture, right down to the new electronic throttle body, has also been designed by Skyships and is state-of-the-art.
That's a really nice. Is that an entertainment system or nice dash?
The car you see here is the first prototype, and will soon begin testing to set up the suspension. Given that it weighs less than a production spec Esprit V8, the spring and shock rates will need to be tuned, along with complete final systems checks and calibrations. The production Esprit V8 nailed a 0-60 miles per hour sprint in 4.1 seconds and 0-110.2 seconds on the way to a 12.7 second quarter mile at 112 miles per hour. As it's expected to weigh some 400 pounds less than that Esprit and boasts 50 more horsepower, the Encor Series 1 should be quicker en route to its claimed 175 miles per hour top speed.
Wow, that's a lot.
Encor plans to build just 50 cars over 2 years, and production is slated to start in 2026. And yes, the Encor Series 1 will be available in a left-hand drive configuration, as well. Of the 1,400 or so Esprit V8s built, just under half were exported to the US. So there's a good pool of donor cars available for American enthusiasts to choose from. Base prices, on current exchange rates, about $570,000 plus shipping, taxes, and the cost of a donor Esprit V8. Nope, it's not cheap. But then again, neither is a 911 Restomid with this level of engineering and quality.
Whoa, that's really good. Oh, this is supposed to. Has the Dodge style taillights when it's a manual, and it's a right-hand drive. Wow.
Here's a car to remind us why we all love Lotus. While the mothership,
Whoa.
this is a reborn Esprit S1. It's made by a company called Encor, and it arrives just in time to celebrate the original's 50th anniversary, fully remastered. So yes, it's a resto mod, and I know that's almost a dirty word these days, but still they come And there's a good reason for that, because modern cars are too heavy, too powerful often, and too damn complicated. So, the Encor is a philosophy as much as it is a car. It emphasizes the stuff that made the original Esprit so cool, the wedge design and its amazingly alert chassis, but junks the stuff that...
I really think this car looks good. And I think it looks like a mini Lamborghini.
That 400 bhp is more than enough, especially in a car that weighs under 1,200 kilograms. Could it be more powerful? Yes, of course it could. But does it need to be? No, it doesn't. This is an
Esprit, but man, does it need to be more powerful? No. Like he says, it doesn't. It's the car, I think it's cool that a lot of these companies are bringing back their older models. As a newer car, whether it's the company itself or it's someone collabing with them, like getting together and helping them make another one. Their old cars are what brought them to where they are today.
Essential Esprit. It has everything that you need and want, and none of the stuff that you don't. An Encor can do this because, of course, it uses a donor car, which is where the rest of it comes in. So although this looks like an Esprit S1, underneath it's actually a last-of-the-line 3.5-litre V8, which was in production until 2004. Lotus developed that engine in-house. It was called the Type 918, an all-aluminium unit with a flat-plane crank, 32 valves, and twin turbos. The rear transaxle originated in the Renault 25. Look it up if you want. And even with major Lotus mods, it was never particularly sweet shifting. Lotus also detuned the V8 from its 500 bhp plus potential to around 350 so that it didn't lunge the gearbox. Work to be done here then. The elements that are core to the donor car's identity are kept intact. So that's the steel backbone chassis, the engine block, the gearbox casing, and some ancillaries. Oh, and the chassis number. This means that Encor can claim, with some considerable justification, that this is basically a new car. Dan Durant, who led the exterior team on the Lotus Emira, has managed to preserve the Giugiaro.
I did not know a company could do this and call it Esprit like the first gen. But that's really good. But I thought they had to have permission. But maybe they did.
Designed original, even though using the V8 as the donor means it's wider now and has more heft than the dainty little mid-70s Dart. This really is insanely beautiful in the flesh, this car. It's so pretty, so well resolved. If you know the original Esprit, and of course you do, you'll remember it has a line that bisects the body. That's gone. That was only ever there because it was used to disguise where the two halves of the...
What happened to the door handles on the new one?
Fiberglass body were glued together. Obviously this is carbon fiber, so we don't need that. What else have we got? Well, you'll notice immediately that the door handles, sourced on the original from the Morris Marina, well, they've completely gone. The pop-up headlamps, they're still here because everybody loves a pop-up headlamp. They're low-profile LED projector lights. A perfect example of using modern technology to update something that we love from our analog past. And probably one of the most impressive things I think about the Encor remaster of the Esprit is basically that the shot lines are so good on this car, so good. The glazing, which is mostly new, though not these bits, these are carried over, but windscreen and this rear glass, I mean, this is so tight. The detail stuff is exceptional. That was never Lotus's strong point back in the smoky 70s. Yes, what we're looking at here is surely the ultimate Esprit S1, and it gets better. For a Restomod startup or whatever it is, Encor has gone to serious lengths here. The Esprit S1's fiberglass GRP body had the structural rigidity of a cheesecake that had been left in the rain and scant rollover protection. This one is made of carbon fibre, and it's from the same British supplier that does the GMA T50. The original chassis was galvanised, but now it's been vapour blasted and coated as well, so
Whoa.
corrosion shouldn't
Really?
be an issue. And the engine, well,
Whoa, really?
for a start, here it is. You can see it. You couldn't on the original Esprit S1, and very lovely it is too. It's got forged pistons, new impellers, electronic throttle with a bespoke aluminium case, a new ECU for a smoother idle and just better everyday usability, new turbos, and a new exhaust. And the gearbox has been significantly upgraded too. There are new gears, rings and bushes. In comes a twin-plate clutch and a Quaife limited slip differential to give the car even sharper, more telepathic handling than ever. There's no traction control, although that might be added later. All Esprits had a bit of a rep for overheating. It's not a car that ever likes sitting still on a hot day in traffic. So the Encor has new radiators and significantly upgraded cooling. Cooling air is drawn to the engine through little intakes here at the side and via this little strip at the top. And there are also extra ducts underneath to vent hot air. It shouldn't overheat, in other words.
I hope this car would not overheat, because your car should never overheat. Your car should never overheat because of factory issues. It should never have factory issues like that. And if they do, they should tell you so that you can get it fixed. And it should be recalled.
There are new suspension arms, Bilstein shock absorbers, new IBAC springs, and new brakes with 6-pot calipers on the front, 4-pot on the rear. And the horrible old fly-off handbrake, well, that's been replaced with a brand new electronic one. The wheels are machined from aluminium billet, 17-inch at the front, 18-inch at the rear. That's unfashionably small by modern standards. The tyres are Bridgestone Potenzas, and the side walls are chunky to protect the car's famous ride and its overall compliance. Now, 70s British sports cars often had, shall we say, troublesome electrics. Encor has given this Esprit remastered an all-new electrical architecture, and the infotainment system is similar to the setup you'll find in the GMA T50 and the one that's used by Pagani, so it should be reliable. That's good. And it should also be able to handle all the stuff that 2025 demands. Right, let's get inside it, shall we? No Morris Marina door handles. How do I get in? I know how to get in. There's a little button up here.
What?
There we are.
That's
Honestly, sitting
that's really different how you get in.
this car, I've driven a few S1 Esprits, and it's a bit like falling through a hole in the space-time continuum from 1975 and washing up 50 years later. Everything is kind of familiar, but fully modernized, remastered, reborn, whatever adjective you want to come up with. So, two-spoke wheel. The original S1 Esprit had this very distinctive steering wheel, and Encor, and it's written large in the boss there. They could have, got a wheel just from a supplier, but they've gone to town on that as they have with everything else. What you don't see so much of these days is tartan trim inside, but that's what the original S1 Esprit had, and it's here in this one too. Apparently Lotus's designers were influenced by London street fashion in the mid-70s, and the look that people like Vivienne Westwood was coming up with. I guess Lotus was a bit punk, really. There's a heated front screen, heated seats, a new aircon system, although the seat frames are the same because there were issues with the seat.
Is aircon air conditioned? I hope so. Because I hear a lot of people call it that when they're from other countries. But I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But I don't know.
There's also a premium audio system made by Encor's main investor, Skyships. There are subs in the bulkhead and specific cutouts in the body. The whole dashboard structure is made of carbon fibre, but you can't see the air vents because they're cleverly hidden. This binnacle, which you can adjust, it's a bespoke car, so if I wanted higher, and I would, they can do that. It's milled from a solid piece of aluminium. It's in 2 parts, I think, so this...
There's only one thing I don't like, and that's the dashboard where you can move where the gauges can be moved. because I don't think it's totally workable with some of the stuff nowadays. Because what I mean by nowadays is with the way they have the gauges, it's almost a distraction because you can't see the buttons and you can't see it. It's usually levers, but now that a lot of things are going computerized, I think this is what they're doing because it's going computerized. But I don't know.
This main piece, modern instruments here, fully configurable. I can't see the nose of the car, so it's a good job it's got a 360-degree parking camera. I remember vividly trying to park a Esprit V8 in the late 90s, and it's quite a painful process. But of course, a manual gearbox as well. There's no flappy paddles in here. This is a oak gear lever, and this is machined. The gate is machined into the top of it. Lotus made around 1,237 Esprit V8s, not all of which are in particularly good shape. Encor is confident that sourcing 50, which is the number of cars they plan to make, should be doable. And before you blow a head gasket, it's not about to start butchering the desirable limited run Sport 350 iteration, or any other garage queens for that matter. A prototype is up and running, with the first customer car due to be delivered in April. Encor has also financed everything without needing to take customer money up front to pay for the program. Like Singer and Chimera, Top Gear's recently crowned Performance Car of the Year, Encor is also aware of the need to provide a full customer experience. It can't be half-assed. Okay, let's recap then. So, 400 bhp, 3.5 litre V8 in something that weighs less than 1,200 kilograms. A car that looks like the best version of the Esprit S1 you've ever seen. A machine that, let's not forget, was made famous by some bloke called James Bond. Well, he was bound to come up, wasn't he?
James Bond has a few cars that were made for the James Bond. Whether it was for a movie or it was done for other purposes. I bet you it was for a movie, but I don't know if it was for one of the James Bond movies or...
It's been completely re-engineered so that the cool stuff is amplified and all the crappy bits have been chucked in the bin. We're talking major analog vibes here, but underpinned by fully modern technology. Even at the £430,000 plus donor car and taxes that the Encor costs, it has all of our attention. I can't wait to drive this thing.
I hope you liked this video, as I never thought I'd be making a video on Lotus or any other cars. What I mean by any other car is any other car of Lotus. I've never thought I'd be making a video on Lotus because I don't really like most of their cars until now. Now I'm realizing not all their cars were always electric, and I like some of their cars, or especially a Rusto Mod car. I'm pretty sure that's what he called it at the beginning. Rusto Mod.